Hi everybody, we are in the sanctuary of Jim Jones's Boyhood Church. This is the finale for the evening. We're not sure what to expect. Alex just got that on his phone. This is going to be a treat for all of us from Reverend Wayne, so let's have at it.
918 dead. How do we get to this number? One man brought us to this number. Jim Jones. This sermon, Jim, is directed at you. Jim, or Jimmy, as you were called as a young boy, you got your first taste of a man's control over people in this church. You visited many churches in the area, and you watched intently. You watched as ministers preached to their congregations, visiting, sitting out in the pews, like the team we have here. But what you saw was one man controlling many, and you wanted that. From that moment, as a child, as a young boy, Jim, you had one focus, and that was to control as many people as you could. Unfortunately, you did just that. You jumped through all the right hoops. You got ordained many times in multiple denominations. You traveled early to spread your word further and further. Spreading your word and convincing people to follow you, and you had one goal. You created the People's Temple. But it wasn't the People's Temple. It was your temple, created by your words. I call it your word because you didn't simply preach the Bible verses like most ministers do. You preached the words that would brainwash the church members to become your followers. And the followers they became. From Indiana to California to Guyana. You controlled followers to the point that they were terrified to leave your church. And they followed you across the country. They followed you out of the country. They followed you to a made-up town named after yourself, Jonestown. And they followed you to their deaths. You're not a minister, Jim. You're not a preacher. You're not a man of faith or a man of God. Jim Jones, you're a monster. You're a cult leader. You're a mass murderer. You're a sick coward. You sat there and watched your followers, people who pledged their loyalty to you, die by your words. That's a murderer. Fortunately, a phrase came out of this that everyone laughed at. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Has become a phrase that gets a lot of people laughing and joking and so forth. Jim, it's not a joke. You convinced your followers to drink the Kool-Aid, the flavor aid that you had laced with cyanide. They would die while you watched. If they wouldn't drink it, you'd have it injected into them, or you'd have them shot. In the end, you wouldn't even drink it. You took a coward's way out, and you shot yourself in the head. So Jim Jones, your followers, and any members of the church that have passed on, from the adults, children, and you yourself, Jim, or anyone else related to one of us, from this weekend, this opportunity, you had a chance to communicate with us in different ways. This Easter weekend was a time for communication. This Easter weekend is a time for resurrection. That's all.
Good job, Mom.
Stay tuned potentially for more.